Hey guys, I'm back with another video. So this week I am shooting in Back to Your Roots again because I wanted to use the whiteboard to go over some examples and give a different perspective rather than just me chatting away about it, but kind of write it out because people learn in different ways. So today's topic I want to talk about is CBD oil. And the reason I want to specifically talk about this is because there's a huge craze going on about it right now, and I want to explain it in a slightly different perspective so people can get a different understanding about disease. I'm simply using this as a little bit of an example, but this can also be applied to pharmaceutical medication. It can be applied to holistic supplements, like nutritional supplements. It can be applied to some different services that you may go to. Anything goes. So just kind of a blanket statement. I'm neither really for nor against CBD oil. I think it's great because it is a naturally derived supplement or plant-based medicine that can help alleviate a lot of dis-ease in the body. Suffering, can help you with sleep, can help with pain, etc., etc. But what I want to educate people about is not necessarily the benefits behind it, but understanding that in our life, these things come with a root cause. So if you're using a supplement that's easing something in your body, that's great, but we need to always be getting to the root cause of something. So I'm going to kind of go like step by step into this. So I always preach about the 4 quadrants. So the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects of health. So the way dis-ease was described to me, and how I read about it and how I apply it into my practice, is that yes, you can get disease from not exercising, from lack of nutrition, you can get it from environmental factors, you can get it from genetics. Yes, definitely. But you can also have dis-ease in the body from aspects in your emotional spectrum, aspects in your mental spectrum, so like belief patterns, having your mind constantly going, etc. This dives into a lot more. And then you can have spiritual aspects, so karma, issues with your energetic field, past life stuff, ancestral stuff, etc. Go check out my What is Health video if you want a little bit more in depth to health and how it all happens. So we have, let's go with like Susie, because I feel like Susie needs some hair. Susie is going through life, and in Eastern medicine, we're made up of the chakra system, but we also have energy channels going throughout our entire body. So literally everything in life is energy. This is the law of physics. So, and in our bodies, when we need to produce emotion, energy is being output and input for our bodies to function. So everything in life is energy, and what happens is we're going through life and something happens to us. So let's have the example of a guy cuts you off on the highway. This is a pretty extreme example, but you're really angry about it and you don't know how to necessarily, you've either suppressed it because you think it's wrong to be angry, or you let it consume your entire life. So we know some of these people, they exist all over, but there's different ways to incorporate anger into your life. So anger can reside in a few different organs. So anger can reside in the kidneys at times, and then it can also reside in your, this is going to be our heart chakra, and in a type of modality, anger can hang out on the right side in our heart chakra, right here. So guy cuts you off, you get angry, you don't deal with it, so the energy starts to pool in this area. And then what happens is maybe we feel a little bit of tension in that area if we're mindful. Most people don't notice this until it becomes really extreme, or maybe they go to an energy healer and the person's like, you've got some anger in this area, we need to deal with it. So guy gets cut off, he's angry, it starts pooling in this area because he has not gone through, experienced the emotion, and learned how to release it in a proper manner. Every single emotion that we experience is neither good or bad, it just is. And our whole purpose is to go into life and experience emotions and experience life and be able to experience it. So go into it, experience it, come out of it, release it, let it go, and go back to a place of love. In my belief system, in the medicine that I practice. So it's creating a little bit of an energetic blockage here. So what could happen is the muscles in this area of his back could be really tight, or maybe he's getting some pains either in his back or on the right side of his chest. And so maybe he doesn't know what it is, so maybe he goes to the doctors, or he ignores it, or he decides to take some Advil or CBD oil, because that was what we were talking about, to help alleviate it. So it's really great at alleviating the symptoms. So maybe it reduces it a little bit, but then the next day it comes back because you're alleviating the symptoms. In order to get rid of this pain that he's feeling, you need to get to the root cause of it. So the root cause of this pain is anger. And how do you get to the root cause of things? And this is with anything. This is with any dis-ease. This is like mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, physical health. Like, you always have to get to the root cause of something and address it on that level for something to create dramatic effect. You might not get rid of it completely if it's a disease or a chronic illness. You might not get rid of it completely, but you need to address it at the root issue. Once you address it at the root issue, it has a spiraling out effect, and then it starts to dissipate from a deeper, like the rooted level. So then you're not going to have this any more. So what was the whole point of this? The whole point of this is to understand when you're using these supplements, to use them with the understanding that they're going to work for sure. But it may work for you, but it might not work for your neighbor, because we're so individualized. Certain people are going to thrive more off of different supplements than other people. And this goes the same with like certain supplements too. If the supplement is only targeting the inflammation, you have to be mindful that it may only get to a certain degree. It may only alleviate your pain to a certain degree. And then if you stop taking it, it might come back because it's only alleviating it. It's not getting to the root cause. So by all means, go and experiment with the different things, because in life, I believe you should always be able to try out different things, and as long as it's not harmful to your health, to bring about more quality of life. And especially if you have chronic illness in your body, yes, like you should be taking more natural things to help the body cope with what you're going through. But also be aware at the same time, like if you're taking these supplements for chronic pain, to be able to sleep, anxiety, depression, you need to get to the root cause, because all that's happening is if this is the root here, if it's only going to hit this surface part here and alleviate from that area. So if you never get to the root cause, then you're always going to have this. And if you don't address this, then sometimes it can create more of a domino effect in your body, or you act at almost like a suppression level. So this is kind of what I tend to caution more people about in terms of if they're like an empath or they're not good at dealing with their emotion, because some of these products are really good at shutting off, especially if you're smoking marijuana or you're using it for a different capacity. It's really great at turning things off, turning emotions off. But the problem is you need to start facing that emotion. You need to look at it. You don't need to look at it long. You never need to like really be in the trenches with something. In fact, that's definitely not at all what I preach in my practice, but you need to be able to address it. You need to be able to look at it. And the more spiritually inclined you are, the more spiritual you want to work with your gifts. You're not going to be able to necessarily do that if you're relying on something to mask who you are as an individual, especially if you're a very sensitive individual. This can be far more of a detriment to your health and you understanding like who you are as an individual. The fact that we have emotions, especially if you're a person who feels really deeply about things, that's a blessing, because it also means if you feel, see, I love diagrams. If this is how you feel about things, this is also how you're, so this is joy up here, and maybe this is, you can't see that, joy, sadness, joy, right? You can, yeah, you're experiencing the depths of the emotion, but you're also experiencing the total height of the emotion. So for you to actually feel empowered about what you're wanting to express and the emotions that you have is more of a blessing. So, and that's the same thing with like trying to get to the root cause of something. The more you understand your body and how it works and how symptoms are formed in the body or how dis-ease is formed in the body, the more you should want to feel empowered to be able to face that. Because yeah, it's uncomfortable. Pain is uncomfortable. Dealing with your emotions is uncomfortable. Going through that, like often most of us like don't want to deal with that. They kind of suppress it. It's like that stuff in the closet, that spring cleaning that you're like, I don't want to go through this, but I have family coming over, so all of the stuff's going to go in the closet. No one touch the closet, because as soon as the closet opens, everything's going to fall out, and I don't want to deal with all that. That's what we do with a lot of our emotions and our stressors in life and our mental aspects and our spiritual aspects, is we stuff it all into a closet and we don't want to deal with it. But then that creates the symptoms because we're not addressing anything and we just expect it to get better. So that's kind of what I wanted to address in this video, is that we have these aspects of ourselves, and these products are really great to use, but they kind of keep you at that superficial level in some ways, or they deal with things at more of a superficial level instead of dealing with the root cause of what's going on. It's completely different if you got into a car accident and you're in a lot of pain. Yeah, like definitely take it, but know what you're taking and know what it can also be doing for your health in a different way. And it depends on like how you're using it as well, like what method you're using to get it into your body. But if your body's sore and your body's tired, like maybe it has a story to tell you. And if you just take the time to shine a light on that story and face it and breathe into it, then you can actually cultivate true healing, and you may have better luck at it fully dissipating or fully healing in your life. Again, like it depends on like where you are in your story, where you are in your life, and what needs to be healed. But the more you understand your body and how it works, hopefully the more you feel empowered to look at these fears or look at these symptoms or, you know, address the pain on like a completely different level, because it's trying to tell you something about your body. So I feel like that was a lot, and a lot kind of jammed into one video, but it's definitely something that I've been noticing lately and something that I wanted to address. Again, like I'm neither for it nor against it. I always preach like, go get educated on what you're taking. My concern with it is simply the concern of people's education about where it is in terms of how it's healing their body and how it's going to help them. So if you take it for a period of time, but then you're also going to like a counselor to deal with your sleep anxiety issues, maybe you're going to a nutritionist if you have pain to also help with things or deal with your sleep from a nutritional standpoint, or maybe you're going to an energy healer as well. Like in some of my videos before, I've talked about you needing a possible team of people to help you navigate your health. There's a lot of different ways and there's a lot of different avenues for you to go about it. And if you're a chronic user of CBD or marijuana, then it can have huge issues on you, especially if your mind tends to go like a mile a minute or you tend to have a lot of emotions. It's going to be a lot harder for you to bring those emotions out of your body for you to cultivate healing, and for you to even understand like your gifts in so many ways. So get educated on the products that you're using and how it affects your body, because it's super important, and it's super important for us to like actually know how our bodies work. They're amazing, and there's far more to them than we actually think, and there's far more to the healing process than we think. It's really kind of amazing. Yes, I'm completely nerding out right now, but it's important because I feel like it empowers you. I know like when I sit down with clients and I let them know the healing process and how it happens and what needs to take place in order for their bodies to heal, they don't walk away bewildered. Well, maybe they do after the first session because it does tend to be a lot, but they walk away feeling more empowered. They walk away feeling like, yes, I didn't think that I had control over this. Like this was controlling me. Like my anxiety was controlling me. I felt hopeless. I didn't know I could cope with life on a different level. Like I didn't know what was happening. I like blah, 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 blah. And the story unfolds. And throughout the sessions that I have with them, they feel more empowered. Like they feel inspired. Like they have tools in their toolboxes for them. And in some situations, some of my clients have gone off their medication and they are fine, and they went off of it via their own will, or the will of like them and their doctors. Like I always preach that it's not my job to take you off your medication. It's my job to help you to understand health on a very different level and help to empower you. And I feel like as we go through more of this CBD oil craze, I think it's important to understand what the products actually do and how they may be helping you and at what level they're helping you, but also maybe how they're hindering you in some aspects. Because the more you know, the more you can make an educated decision on like how long you're going to be taking this supplement for, or can you take a different supplement, or can you continue taking this supplement, but also like maybe you need a nutritionist, maybe you need to look at your diet, maybe you need to go get exercise because that will help with things. Maybe you need to go get some energy healing done because that is super important. Anyway, so that's my talk this week. I'm sure that will maybe raise some questions. So if you have any questions or comments or concerns, or I hit a nerve with something, please let me know. Comment below, like, share, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now, guys.